region. Post COVID-19 pandemic in the world, we have already gone through a difficult time since March this year and may have to endure this state of affairs for some more time till we have a viable medical solution. However, as adaptability is the key to our survival, we will overcome the adverse situation with discipline and being compassionate to the needy. I wish grand success to the virtual 7th Regional Conference during this trying time. Thank you.
TOS Mahodari Group, Mitali Mahapatra.
Namaskar. On behalf of Kuri Mahodari TOS Group, I, Mittalin Mahapatra, Secretary of this group, convey my hearty greetings to you all and wish the grand success of this conference. Thank you.
Thank you, Mitali. TOS Rayagada Group, Rayagada.
On behalf of the members of Rayagada, TOS Group, I convey my hearty and wish the 7th Annual Regional Conference a grand success to all.
Thank you, Mr. Satyavati. Next, TOS Rishikunya Group, Barampur.
Good morning. I am Prasad from TOS Rishikunya Group, Barampur. On the occasion of 7th Regional Conference of TOS Odisha region, I extended my hearty welcome to all members and guests. I wish good health to all brothers and sisters and wish grand success on the visual conference of special event. Thank you to all.
Thank you, Mr. Das. And finally, TOS Jira Group, Purnamasi Patnaik.
Dear brothers and sisters, on behalf of the members of Jira TOS Group Odisha, as well as on my behalf, I convey my heartiest greetings to you all and wish the 7th Regional TOS Conference of Odisha region a great success. Due to COVID-19 pandemic, the world is passing through a very hard times, and this has indirectly awakened and taught everyone to live in harmony with a spirit of brotherhood with all life. It is essential for everyone to cultivate loving kindness, compassion, and selfless service to fight against this pandemic. I pray to the great ones, may the entire world be helped and freed from all mental, physical anguish and torment suffered from the COVID-19, and you all be further inspired to work for the peace, happiness and welfare of the humanity. Thank you all.
Thank you, brothers and sisters. With this, we come to the end of the greetings. Thank you once again.
Brother K.P. Padhi will be presenting the activity report of the division for the year 2019-2020.
Please slide. Good morning, brothers and sisters from India. Good evening, sorry, and good morning, brothers and sisters from Mugrawat. This is Dr. Krishna Prasad Padhi, Regional Secretary TOS Odisha Region. It's my pleasure to read out the annual report on the activities of TOS Odisha Region for the year 2019-20. The report is as under 1. TOS Mahabharat Group. First, 6th Annual Conference of TOS Odisha Region. On 22nd September 2019, the 6th annual conference of the Odisha region was held in the conference of Royal College of Science and Technology, Bhubaneswar. The theme of the conference was Transform the Self, Transform the World. Professor Ganesh Lal, Honorable Governor of Odisha, was the chief guest. Dr. Acharya Achyuta Samat, Founder Chancellor of KIT and KIS University, and Honorable MP Lok Sabha, and Dr. D.N. Bhattacharya, National Director, former National Director, US India, were the guests of honor. All the guests spoke at length on the theme and reiterated the fact that most of us try to change the world instead of introspection and changing oneself. It's how important to first transform oneself with higher level of awareness and consciousness, and only then can the individual lead to enlightenment and realize the very purpose of life. It's by such transformation the individuals are imbibed virtues like love, fellow feeling, brotherhood, fraternity, compassion, etc., which are important traits for rendering selfless service. Such oneness of life would make the world a decent place to live together in a society. The TOS Odisha region felicitated Dr. Achyuta Samat with the Jason Selfless Service Award 2019 for his remarkable contribution to humanity as a whole, especially in the field of education, health, art, culture, science, rural development, social service, sports, women, and tribal empowerment. Sovereign Siva was inaugurated by the guests and distributed among the dignitaries, etc. Second, Women Empowerment Program. Women Empowerment Program Skill Development. The mobile tailoring training unit of the group functions in different slums in Nation. It's very popular among women as many from the slums have been trained under the Women Empowerment Program through Skill Development Program. The program is indeed a confidence booster as it enables them to undertake gainful economic activity for augmentation of their family income. The mobile tailoring unit was last shifted to Bintang area effective from February 5, 2018. In 2019-20, 3 batches were trained in Bintang. Certificates were given to the poor women trainees of Bintang University who had successfully completed the tailoring training imparted by our group. The activity is temporarily paused due to COVID-19 pandemic. In this regard, we express our gratitude to TOS and New Zealand for their active cooperation and financial support. As part of the rural outreach, the group also started an additional training facility at Haritamada village in Mendasa, Uttar since August 2, 2019. The center has been provided with 5 sewing machines and other tools. 1 batch of women was trained there. In January 2020, President Dr. Deepa Padhi was invited to attend the summer conference of New Zealand. She explained there the novelty of the training program as part of our Women Empowerment project. Women Empowerment Karate training for girls as part of self-defense of girls, karate, for education prevention. Like in previous years, it has been societies during the academic session 2020-21. This is the karate training that is being given to children as part of the self-defense training mechanism under the package of TOS Mahabharata. Like in the previous years, Mahabharata Group has decided to sponsor ₹10,000 each to 25 poor meritorious girls for pursuing higher studies during the academic session 2020-21. This is the 5th year of assistance given to them. The program started in 2015-16 as a 5-year program for helping such persons to pursue higher education. We are grateful to TOS Italy for sponsoring ₹138,433 and 63 as a matching grant for scholarship of 25 poor meritorious girl students for pursuing higher education. Every year, we liberally grant rupees 36,000 for the financial support of the salary of the teachers of the Anniversary Model School, QS Anniversary Model School, Rayagada, Vaidya Mahabharat. Next, plantation. This is the Anniversary Model. During COVID-19 pandemic, we have also given assistance to these poor meritorious girl students to pursue education online. Here is a pictograph of those poor meritorious girl students pursuing their education online. We wish them all the best in their endeavors at these moments of crisis. Next is plantation. The TOS Odisha region, as part of protecting nature, has undertaken a plantation program in and around Bhubaneswar. As part of Save Nature campaign, we have organized series of plantation programs. Coconut tree plantation was organized by our members in the Aditya Children Home. Rupees 30,000 was donated to the home. Coconut tree plantation was organized on 20th June 2020 by our members at Divine Retreat Center in Haridwar village, belonging to the Brahma Kumaris Forest Park, Bhubaneswar. Next, homes. Health camps and helping poor people for treatment of ailments and disabilities. The blood donation camp was organized in October 29, 2019 in the Philosophy Department of Utkal University with the help of Red Cross Society. 65 units of blood were collected. Professor Soumendra Mohan Patnaik, Vice Chancellor, Utkal University, Professor Savita Acharya, Chairperson, PG Council, Sri Devasis Naik, Registrar of Utkal University, congratulated the students who donated blood. We celebrated the International Doctors' Day on 1st July 2020 by putting up a banner in front of the Casualty Department of Capital Hospital expressing our gratitude, and we salute the frontline COVID-19 warriors, the doctors. We wish them all the best in their pursuit of selfless service. Helping people for treatment of ailments and disabilities. One person by name Sanjit Patnaik, suffering from debility in legs and hands, was provided financial assistance of rupees 40,000 for treatment at some hospital. We are glad that he is able to walk now. The Mahabharat group has also donated a wheelchair to Sahaya, a voluntary organization for ferrying and helping patients in Capital Hospital, Bhubaneswar. A wheelchair has been donated, and to Pradeep Kusti, the Pradeep Foundation, is it? Pradeep Foundation, a social worker who undertakes disposal cremation of unclaimed dead bodies. A stretcher has been donated to Pradeep Charitable Trust as they do cremation of unidentified persons lying on the roads and railway tracks. Further, we have the TOS Mahabharat has donated a patient examination bed to the Capital Hospital. Homes. At different points of time during the period, the group distributed cooked food, groceries to more than 400,000 people. We have given financial assistance to old age homes like the MP Old Age Home at Dharpana, Bhubaneswar. From Mission Asra at Jana, we have supported financially a home for mentally ill and destitute women. The Ashakiran Siva Sadan Old Age Home has been financially supported. The Aditya Children Home at Mendhasa has also been financially supported by TOS Mahabharat Group. The girls and boys both of this children home have excelled in now this children home excels in painting, now each child is uniquely endowed and given the proper ambience and encouragement, they will prove their innovative capacity and grow into excellence. The exquisite paintings by these children are a testimony to their creative potentiality. We wish the inmates all the best. Annual meeting of TOS and UTF conference. On 9 February 2020, the annual conference of the TOS UTF conference was organized in UTF headquarters, Bhubaneswar. The theme of the meeting was Service Path to Self-Transformation. Chaudhry Gaurav Misra, Vice President of Divine Life Society, was the chief guest. Janab Shakil Ahmad and Mr. Saurabh Sampath Nag were the chief speakers of the occasion. All spoke about spiritual way of life and essence of humanity, which is at the core of all religions. In the function, TOS Mahabharat Group felicitated Sri Niyaranjan Panda Kennedy with a shawl and a citation for his selfless service under the aegis of the organization named Joy of Giving, which he founded to offer free education and healthcare facilities to the underprivileged and the deprived. COVID-19 pandemic related activities. During the global COVID-19 pandemic, Odisha was also affected since mid-March 2020 and is still continuing. In the initial phase, the virus to human life compelled the government to enforce Janata curfew and social distancing. This brought livelihood of many people, especially the daily wage earners, street side vendors, to a grinding halt. The profoundness of the situation among the slum dwellers in Bhubaneswar drove the compassionate brothers and sisters of TOS Mahabharat Group and other groups to donate generously and reach out selflessly to the needy people with food, grocery, medicines, other items like face masks, etc. All were truly inspired by the idea of service to humanity is service to God. So, TOS Odisha region, including the lead taken by Mahabharat Group, also distributed Glutenex, Horlicks, medicine, iron tablets along with groceries were given to 200 pregnant ladies of the 3 slums of Dumduma Basti and Patharavanda Basti. 100 face masks were given to health workers in the capital hospital.
આપણે ક્યાં ગયા?
વ્યવસાય કરી સાહેબ પાછળ જોવા.
Apart from distribution of these materials, a banner was displayed near the casualty ward of Capital Hospital, hailing the relentless work of COVID-19 warriors, the doctors. Theosopical group, as stated earlier, also observed the International Doctors' Day in July 2020. Banners were displayed in 6 slum areas, sensitizing residents about the safety measures against spread of COVID-19. Besides food items, medicine, face masks were also distributed among underprivileged families of Rangamuta village in the outskirts of Bhubaneswar, Varidamada village and Varapita villages in Mendasa Panchayat, Bhubaneswar block. In this regard, our President, Dr. Deepa Padhi, has edited a book entitled Corona Pandemic, The Challenge and the Lessons. Authors from 12 different countries across the world have contributed articles. The sale proceeds of the book shall be utilized for distressed women as part of the Women Empowerment Program. The e-book shall be released shortly, virtual, by the chief guest, Brother Tim Boyd.
Thank you. Thank you, Brother K.P. Padhi. Let us now listen to our members on the theme, Together we can. Together we can change the challenges into opportunities by serving the distressed with love, compassion, and empathy. Let us now hear from our members.
TOS, to me, stands for Triumph Over Sufferings, which epitomizes Daya, Karuna and Anukampa. TOS offers a platform to serving the needy and distressed lot based on compassion, oneness and services before self. The members at TOS have exhibited extraordinary resolution and resilience during COVID-19 and have extended physical and emotional support to the lowest strata of our society. We pray God to bless us all to actualize the visions nurtured by TOS.
To think and act positive, to stay compassionate and empathetic, to share wealth and happiness, to do hard work with honesty, and above all, serve the less fortunate and the distressed, has been always the motto of mankind, and so as of the Theosopical order of society. At this time of pandemic and crisis, TOS has shown us the path to serve with empathy and endurance, bringing about oneness and unity to the society.
The need of the hour is showing compassion, rendering selfless service with determination, commitment, courage, tolerance, love and sacrifice to mankind. The Theosophical order of service has shown us the way in caring, loving and selfless service, in which lies the secret of a united world community.
Our inherent human qualities are reinforced by the teachings of TOS, leading us more towards compassion, empathy and feeling of oneness with the distressed and the downtrodden. While we always endeavor to help the sections of the society, the COVID-19 pandemic has suddenly multiplied the numbers and the misery. We need to find greater strength and resolve to extend a helping hand in more innovative ways than before during this unprecedented time.
2 helping hands are more important than 1,000 lips that pray. The Almighty has extended a lot of privileges to some of us, and it is our moral obligation to transfer some of these privileges to the underprivileged sections of society, like destitutes, orphans, physically retarded, mentally retarded, and the aged, and alleviate some of their sufferings. Remember, life is an echo. You always get back what you give.
I am blessed to be part of TOS, which represents the oneness, selflessness, and compassion of all beings. Every day I wake up in awe of the exemplary dedication of each and every TOS volunteer who works tirelessly to serve the needs of the world's most underprivileged and vulnerable people. Their hard work and empathy, especially during this COVID-19 pandemic, is core to what TOS stands for and symbolizes. Thank you.
Rendering selfless service is the prime objective of TOS. Accordingly, TOS Odisha region is committed to serve the poor, the needy, the downtrodden, and the distressed ones amid COVID-19 pandemic. There is always a joy of giving. We in TOS Odisha region give all possible help to the poor and needy ones to make their life in the moments of crisis a happy and decent one. Thank you.
COVID-19 has brought about a ravage into the human world. The suffering humanity in the dark and weary times need mental and physical support, and Samaritans in the shape of our Theosophical order of service have come to help in providing not only essentials, daily essentials, but mental guidance for sustenance. Thank you all.
TOS was founded so that some of pain in the world may be reduced to an extent, and it is not just doing of work which is important, but the manner in which it is done and the purity of purpose associated with it. Now, during the testing times of COVID-19 pandemic, gratitude is one of the simplest yet powerful medium of service to the society, and TOS bears testimony to this.
Dear brothers and sisters, due to the pandemic, the number of inmates in orphanages and old age homes have increased considerably. A great attention to these homes is needed, and we may also help the students in acquiring skill education and training and providing them with moral teachings. Thank you.
The post-COVID world must be resilient, inclusive, and compassionate towards others. All the qualities
સ્પીક દબાવવું પડતું હતું ને કઈ વાંધો નહીં આઈ સ્ટોપ થઈ ગયું છે.
Students, we intend to create a new holistic world in the post-COVID period.
Since its advent, TOS, especially TOS Mahabharat Group, has stuck to two main foundations of compassion and art of giving. And especially now, during these testing times of pandemic, TOS Mahabharat Group has not stopped to serve and give more and more love, warmth in every way possible to the people in and around Odisha.
TOS provides a forum to make brotherhood real and practical by alleviating sorrows and sufferings of all living beings so as to realize oneness with all. During this COVID-19 pandemic challenges, let us rededicate ourselves to the cause of selfless service and resolve to carry on TOS work with profound love and compassion for all life. Thank you.
I, Bhavani Shankar Mahanti, a member of Katak TOS group under Barbati Theosopical laws, wish you all my warm regards. If TS is theoretical precepts, TOS is practical theosophy, living theosophy. Katak TOS group under Barbati Theosopical laws has extended financial assistance to the destitutes during the COVID-19 pandemic. This group has been rendering TOS service ever since its inception. Thank you.
As members of TOS, our top priority is to contain the coronavirus through many acts of courage and compassion. This pandemic has threatened those basic freedoms to safeguard the lives of many deprived people. It is now more than ever we must integrate the compassionate mindset, attitude, and emotion to evolve as tender-hearted beings to look out for each other and believe in the power of oneness.
Namaskar. Oneness of life means individual unit of all creatures. Compassion is the basis of oneness of life. As you practice, so you become. Make it your consciousness by practicing daily in your life.
Namaskar. The scare of COVID-19 has scared many people in the world. In late March this year, when the pandemic broke in India, the scare of the new virus to human life compelled the government to enforce Janta curfew and social distancing, among others, to minimize people-to-people contact and curb spread of the virus. Naturally, this brought livelihood of many people, especially the daily wage earners, street vendors, to a grinding halt. Driven by the profound situation of the slum dwellers in Bhubaneswar, compassionate brothers and sisters of the TOS Mahabharat Group, Odisha region, donated generously and reached out selflessly to the needy people with food, medicine, face masks, etc. Service to humanity is service to God, was the guiding spirit. Jai Hind.
In every crisis, take the higher path, the path of kindness, empathy, compassion, and love. Love leads to connections and oneness. The present COVID-19 pandemic requires your services for the welfare of humanity. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Forget the illusion of separation. Celebrate the truth of oneness, for we are all one. One life can make a world of difference. Why not you as a member of TOS?
Now we will be felicitating 3 dedicated volunteers for their courage. No, sorry. Now we'll be felicitating 3 dedicated volunteers for their courageous, committed, and relentless service. It is because of them that we could provide food materials, groceries, to around 4,000 people during the lockdown for 4.5 months. On behalf of our special guest, Lily Boyd, I am going to present them this outstanding volunteer award. I will request Brother Siva Padhi to invite them one by one to receive the award.
Theosopical Order of Service Odisha region, felicitation to outstanding volunteers. The outstanding volunteer award first goes to Sri Pradeep Kumar Krishti. Sir, we the members of TOS Odisha region feel extremely happy and greatly privileged to have you in our midst. Being committed to selfless service, you are instrumental in taking care of unknown dead bodies and cremating them. As the chairman of Pradeep Seva Trust, you have recovered several unknown dead bodies of poor persons in particular and cremated them in graveyards. Indeed, you have proved yourself as a custodian of unknown dead bodies and have tried to perform all the rituals thereafter by supporting your organization. In fact, your efforts for rescue and rehabilitation and rendering service to these victims, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, under the pattern of TOS is exemplary. On this solemn occasion of the 7th Regional Virtual Conference of TOS Odisha Region 2020, we feel happy and honored to bestow with you the Outstanding Volunteer Award for your courage and indomitable spirit of rendering service to the people in general. May God bless you in your relentless pursuit of service to mankind. Yours in admiration, members of Theosopical Order of Service. Thank you, Mr. Christie. The second volunteer is Sri Himadri Kumar Naik. Sir, the TOS Odisha region feels extremely happy and honored to have you in our midst. It's heartening to note that hailing from a humble background, you have dedicated yourself to selfless service, reaching out to the poor, needy, and the downtrodden. You have been sincerely associated with TOS for rendering service to the poor slum dwellers in and around Bhubaneswar during the COVID-19 pandemic. By distributing food, clothes, medicines, and other relief materials to the poor, you have displayed your benevolent attitude, which is exemplary. You are a dedicated, dependable, and responsible social worker. Indeed, for you, service to mankind is service to God. On this auspicious occasion of the 7th Regional Virtual Conference of TOS Odisha region, we feel privileged to bestow on you the Outstanding Volunteer Award for your remarkable contribution to mankind in general and the poor in particular. Wishing you good luck in life. Yours in admiration, members of Theosopical Order of Service. Thank you, Mr. Naik.
Congratulations.
Third volunteer, Sujukta Nitu Ranjan Das. Sir, the TOS Odisha region feels greatly privileged and happy to have you in our midst. Being techno-savvy and qualified in social science and undertaking research activities in human rights, art, culture, religion, women empowerment, social welfare, and community development, your interest and dedication to social service is exemplary. Besides, as a leader and visionary, you have done commendable work in pursuit of social service during the COVID-19 pandemic. On this August occasion of the 7th Regional Conference of TOS Odisha Region 2020, we feel happy and honored to bestow on you the Outstanding Volunteer Award for your commitment and devotion to selfless service for humanity at large. Wishing you Godspeed in life. Yours in admiration, members of Theosopical Order of Service, Odisha region. Thank you and congratulations, Mr. Das. Thank you. I think we need to be part of during the lockdown, we suffered a lot of these 4 to 6 months. shutdown and lockdown situation, we provided and reached to the most vulnerable group in Odisha, different part of Odisha. And we served with a lot of compassion, and I will continue to every part. Thank you. And this one, thank you to Theosopical Order of Service to giving me an opportunity. Doing Theosopical Order of Service, Odisha is doing a very excellent job. So they are providing food to the needy people and all these things to essential service like food related items and whatever the people they provide all those things to the people. And they are doing a very good job. I give my attached gratitude and thanks from the core of my hands. Theosopical Order of Service doing a very excellent job. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Nilanjan and Prasad, for your response. I now request Sister Lily Boyd to say a few words to the volunteers and also the assembly. Sister Lily Boyd.
Thank you. I can hear you. Thank you. Dear volunteers, I am so pleased to get the opportunity to talk to you today. Firstly, I'd like to thank Vice President Deepa Padhi for inviting me to speak with you today. To all the volunteers, I would like to thank you for the amazing work you do. You are a blessing to people. You give a helping hand, you show generosity, patience, and kindness. Amazing volunteers also offer their gift of time. You inspire hopes and dreams, give smiles, and show how much you care for other people. You're an example of God's love. I was told by an elderly woman that volunteers are sent by God to help the needy. When I heard that, I was moved to tears. Her words reminded me of the importance of giving and helping others. I especially think about the importance of helping children. Volunteers, when you help children, those same children will one day, because of you giving, be offering their help to another when they get older. When we plant the right seeds, healing fruit will grow. We are living in a time of uncertainty and chaos. Being selfless during a time where people are sick and experiencing feelings of fear, anger, and sadness is greatly needed. That is when you give hope to someone who needs a tender touch. This is what you do. Volunteers, you are the best examples of what we should all strive to be. We are so lucky to have you. Thank you again for all that you do. Lots of blessing. Thank you.
Thank you, Lily, for your words of appreciation and encouragement. Now, President Jim would now be releasing the e-souvenir, Siva.
Well, hello, everyone. It is my honor and privilege to release this ebook that has been developed. As is the case, all of the profits from this book will go toward the same sorts of help that you have seen being given throughout Odisha. So once again, the Siva edition for this 7th TOS Regional Conference is now officially released. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jim. Ordinarily, Chief Guest, International President Tim Boyd, would have in person presented the prestigious Prasad Service Award 2020 to the awardee Dr. Satyasundar Mahapatra. I seek permission from Tim Boyd to confer this award, this prestigious award, to Dr. Satyasundar Mahapatra, the frontline COVID-19 warrior.
Absolutely.
Theosopical Order Service Odisha Region, Prasad Service Award 2020, presented to Dr. Satyasundar Mahapatra. Esteemed Sir, the Theosopical Order Service Odisha Region feels highly honored and profoundly happy to have you in our midst. Being highly qualified as a doctor, MD in radiology, and professor and head, Department of Radiodiagnosis, IMS, and some hospital, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, you have extensive experience in performing and interpreting radiologic procedures. Your keen interest in updating new trends in radiology and by regularly attending medical education seminars, you have attained special knowledge in your subject. You are also a member of the University Academic Council, advisor to the hospital's continuing medical committee, and a central advisor, council member of the Indian Association of Radiology Odisha. During these COVID times, you have been given additional responsibility of chief advisor to all the COVID hospitals managed by SOA University. At these moments of crisis, you have proved your mettle as a silent COVID warrior by doing clinical monitoring and imaging of all COVID patients, facilitating diagnostic services, following up patients' health status, counseling patients, and discharging them. You have been doing all these not only with utmost care and sincerity, sir, but also with the best of your ability to maintain composure and calmness even under extreme work pressure. Your mission is to provide the best of healthcare and medical facilities to the COVID patients in and around Bhubaneswar. By doing so, you have proved to be a living angel to several patients who are in distress and need a healing touch. On this auspicious occasion of the 7th Regional Conference of Theosopical Order of Service Odisha Region, we are privileged to bestow on you the prestigious Prasad Service Award 2020 for your remarkable contribution in the spirit of selfless service to humanity as a whole. Wishing you all the very best in life. Yours in admiration, Theosopical Order of Service Odisha Region. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for coming here and giving us the honor. Please write an applause. He deserves it. Thank you and congratulations. I request Dr. Satyasundar Mahapatra to say a few words in response.
Where between
ना बदले तो only तो जावे ना
So the thing is absolutely the world will not be the same again because probably this is the most health crisis in this region humankind has faced. As being part of the COVID management and group from our hospital, I am witnessing a very paradigm shift in the healthcare that is being provided by our hospital. Like initially it started with the panic, with the social stigma. Now things are really changing. The kind of surge that we are witnessing right now, the kind of patients we have to face day in, day out. It's really scary. There are many facets to this disease process, like many patients were actually asymptomatic, they are not manifesting much. But there are a subset of persons like who are really becoming critically ill and who are addressed those quick time is very essential. So to facilitate all those, like to attend to the needy, the triaging of the person who actually needs a care after the pandemic, like after the infection, that remains a challenge for us. So now most of the hospital beds are full, the ventilators are adjusted. So it's really a stressful time. Hope we'll get over this and maybe they will see a better world. Thank you. Thanks. I would have loved to spend more time with it because I told man like there are so many persons.
Yes, we understand.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
busy person.
Thank
Your intelligence salutes you and your all jobs.
Thank you. Thank you.
We salute your community along with you.
Thank you.
Now I will request Mr. Purnamasi, the Secretary of the Theosopical Federation, Bhubaneswar, to introduce our guest of honor, Brother K. Siva.
Hello.
Chief guest, Brother T. International President, PES and POS. Special guest, Sister Lady Boyd. Guest of honor, Brother K. Siva Prasad, National Director, POS. Dr. Deepa Padhi, International Vice President, PS and President, POS Odisha Region. Dr. K.P. Padhi, Regional Secretary, Odisha Region. Esteemed brothers and sisters from India and abroad. I convey my happy greetings and good wishes to you all. It is a great honor for me to introduce our National Director of POS India, Brother K. Siva Prasad, on this 7th Regional Live Conference of POS Odisha Region. Brother K. Siva Prasad hails from Hyderabad. He is a postgraduate degree holder in MSc Botany and has done 2 years diploma in silviculture. He started his career as a junior scientist in forestry department. He was also working in agricultural university as forestry lecturer. He served for 25 years in various capacities in action for food production, an NGO working for land and water resources for the poorer section of communities through livelihood enhancement with socio-technical inputs. He had received Netherlands government fellowship to study community forestry. He had also worked with National Biodiversity Authority concerning to conservation and regulation of biological resources. During his service career, he had visited many countries such as Netherlands, England, Switzerland, Canada, and Sri Lanka, etc. in connection with his professional activities. He has also published many articles with regard to his profession. Regarding Theosopical activities, he is a member of Hyderabad Lodge for over 22 years and became National Director of POS in India since March 2020 of this year. Earlier, he served as National Secretary of POS India. Brother K. Siva Prasad has participated in the World Philosophy Congress held in Singapore and the Indo-Pacific Conference activities in the last year. He is stalwart in the field of POS as well as PS2. He has done many exemplary works for the development of POS in India. This is the brief biography of Brother K. Siva Prasad. Thank you. I will now request Brother Siva Prasad to address the participants.
Namaste to everyone. Thank you, Purnamasi Patnaik ji, Madam, for your kind introduction about me. So I am delighted to be here on this occasion. First, I would like to convey my respects to International President Tim Boyd, Madam Lily Boyd, and Madam Deepa Padhi, and all the members and non-members who are viewing this event throughout the world. I think this is a rare opportunity of viewing from a regional conference by all the entire globe. I must convey my gratitude to Deepa Padhi Madam for giving me this honor to be as guest of honor on this occasion. So I was there in this Odisha region, Bhubaneswar, during 5th TOS conference, that is just last before a year. And I could really physically saw all these, what Brother K.P. Padhi was presenting, the report, annual report. All those things, I remember, it comes to my mind, and very, very, very interesting and rich work done by the region is the TOS Mahabharat is a great work. The Vibrant Women Livelihood Program Tailoring Unit, I was there in that Bhimtangi, that photo we have seen. And also the old age home, MP old age home, where I was there. Ramnath Naik, he's managing that, and very interesting, very great service work. And also this your region, Odisha region, has also supported this time to West Bengal floods. So that means this regional body of institution, the Theosopical Order of Service Odisha region, is not only limited to the Odisha region, but also elsewhere also it has expresses response. It's a great thing. The TOS India at Varanasi has about 22 regions operating with about 170 groups. Dr. Anne Besant founded this in 1908 to reduce suffering through application of TS teachings. TOS is practical theosophy. Theosophical living by theosophists is an important movement of the TOS. Internationally also, TOS is active in about 35 countries. Sister Nancy Secres is managing this, coordinating, and also she helps being in Adyar. She is able to support us very much. Ever since lockdown started, many became confused and frightened. Gradually, now people are coming out of this syndrome. Certainly post-COVID, world will not be the same again. Then how do we take it? A social distancing in the Western world culture of handshaking for greeting each other, which has become a hurdle during this protection period. The Indian way, we all know, Namaste, is emerging from the Theosophical point of view. Theosophical teachings say that etheric and astral body feelings are also in that. And with that, if the other person is also with the same spiritual, astral, and etheric feelings, he or she receives it happily. Otherwise, it is ignored. So this is a rich tradition of East to convey our relationship. Theosophical feelings of etheric double and astral body explained gives theosophists to appreciate this and spread to the other people in society. Now coming to the aspect of global scenario of health protection, economic and military protection, if we see, in global scenario, 80% of workplaces partially or fully closed. This has caused immense unemployment to people and they have to struggle for their livelihood. Hence, work from home practice is becoming permanent and considered as economic austerity measure. State protection expenses are more for defense and military expenses and counter-terrorism as compared to small budgets provided for human health care, for disease control, etc. Theosophical peace teachings are helpful in bringing ideas like armed forces lockdown in borders. Now we have pandemic lockdown, but instead there should be armed forces lockdown. There is need for altruistic and compassionate politics. We require global commonalities rather than national differences. As we do see all over the world, national differences are increasing between the nations. We have to build on vitalization of communities and social solidarity. Resilience of capacity to recover by the families of frontline workers like nurses, sanitary workers, supply chain persons, like during this lockdown, when we are at stay at home, we get our products at the doorstep. They are with a smiling face coming and giving. So like that, many delivery boys, doctors, etc., are important focus in the post-COVID rather than our celebrities or tycoons or big people, big politicians whom we admire. Instead, I think these are the, we have to pay for more focus attention to these people. That is what we can say that the policies are serving a few rather than it should serve the real people who require, deserving sections of the society rather than who doesn't require. Theosophical living will enhance living in tune with nature rather than opposed. Climate change of ice caps melting, adverse weather, pollution will continue over next 50 years. This is what analysis of the scientific studies says. Over next 50 years, it will be like this coronavirus pandemic. It will be threatening us with so many adverse effects. So we should be careful in the post-COVID. Forced migration lack of livelihoods, refugee problem, are major challenges to be faced in post-COVID. Situation will worsen further. We should strive for a less polluted world, less fearful, empathetic, and develop a equal society. Strive for a equal society. Pandemic is a wake-up call. It should not lead to an authoritarian rule. Like, for example, during this COVID period, I happened to travel within the states also. I was forced to travel to meet my brother, elderly sick brother and all that. At the time, I do see in the traffic police, in the checkposts, how authoritarian rule they exhibit, flexible for some and then may not be for some others. And that kind of all authoritarian rule should not be there. It becomes a nightmare. So that should not continue. Restrict more, illegal practices by the police and all that. So vitalize democratic institutions, higher level of participation in political decision making are important strategies for the post-COVID. Then coming to some of the virtues to be cultivated in the post-COVID are cooperation, compassion, sympathy, one life feeling, altruism, simple life, contentment, equanimity, integrity, etc. TOS is a social action as spiritual practice. Somewhere I read, I think Brother Tim Boyd mentioned it. TOS has two purposes: unselfish service, then inner transformation of server. Also, United Nations and Theosophy has common universal values such as peace, human rights, human dignity, justice, good neighborhoodliness, freedom, respect for nature. Associating with United Nations organizations will strengthen TOS as an institution. So in 1900s, somewhere in the old letter by Janaraj Dasa, I have a copy of that. I was just browsing that. In that, it says that the Theosophist uses for the weapons some shield. The weapons are like, if we have mental confusion, the shield is human enlightenment. If we have weapon of economic exploitation, the shield is social security. If it is military aggression, it is brotherhood. If it is cruelty, shield is kindness. United Nations is physical demonstration of our concept of universal brotherhood, our first principle. We have to look our communities closely and identify opportunities on our doorsteps for putting Theosophy into action. Our inner work is spiritual development and transformation. Our outer work is service to all life. HPB gave equal balance of these two. 6 paramitas, cordial virtues, are important to remember, which are charity, chastity, patience, industry, meditation, ingenuousness, that is sincerity or openness. So this is all what I would like to speak, and really I am privileged to be the honor of guest, and also my congratulations to Odisha TOS region for the splendid work, and it will be the role model for the entire country. Because of reality of pandemic, being a national director, I have to admit that even at national level and other at regional level, in a very limited way, the work is going on, and also at group level. So certainly, Odisha region is an exceptional breakthrough, and my congratulations to all the team of Odisha region for this splendid work. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Prasad, for a very informative and educative address. Thank you very much for being with us. In the month of April, when the coronavirus was in its peak, I thought of making a compilation of articles titled Corona Pandemic, the Challenge and Lessons. It is an edited book. The foreword has been given by the Honorable Governor of Odisha. There are 58 articles from authors of different walks of life from around the world and diverse issues. Out of these 58, 22 authors are Theosophicals. I'm really grateful to all the authors who have contributed their valuable articles, and it will be my pleasure to present one copy to each author on a complimentary basis. I would like to mention here that the sale proceeds of this book shall be utilized for distressed women as part of Women Empowerment Project. Now I would request our International President Kim Boyd to release the book, Corona Pandemic, the Challenge and the Lessons.
So once again, you've heard about the book as Deepa has described it. Deepa, of course, was the spearhead in bringing this into fruition. So now it's actually a reality as an ebook. So I would encourage everyone to take advantage of the many points of view that are represented in this book. So it's my honor to be able at this event to officially release this book. So I thank you, Deepa, for asking me to do this.
Thank you, Tim, for the virtual release. But they will show you, they will just show you the book. Thank you, Jim, for
Thank you, Deepa.
your book. Well, now I am supposed to introduce our chief guest, the International President, Jim Boyd, but because of time constraints, I'm going to give a very brief introduction of No, it doesn't need an introduction. Tim has been a member of the Theosophical Society since 1974. He has served as president of United States Theosophical Society and has lectured and conducted workshops in the US, Central and South America, Europe, Asia, and New Zealand. When Tim took over as president of the Theosophical Order of Service US, his involvement with the Tushul orphanage in Tibet gave him an opportunity to invite Dalai Lama to Chicago in July 2011, a two-day event attended by 10,000 people. The event raised $400,000 US, all of which was donated to educational projects aiding Tibetan communities worldwide. He was elected International President of the Theosophical Society Adair and assumed office in April 2014. He is the 8th International President since its founding in 1875. Tim is a rare combination of wisdom, vision, dynamism. A person of cool, calm temperament with a balanced mind and compassionate heart. Now I would request International President Tim Boyle to address the participants.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Deepa, for your generous introduction. I also thank you for inviting me to participate at this. I have been at your TOS regional conventions in the past. Physically, I was able to be there. At some point, whenever this COVID situation normalizes, it's my hope and my wife Lily's hope that we'll be able to do that once again. When that will be, we do not know. But I thank you for your vision in the work that you are doing. I know, because you always tell me so, that it is not just one person that makes all of these many things happen in Odisha. So to you and to the many people who contribute to the marvelous work you're doing on others' behalf, I send my thanks and my admiration. Obviously, the theme of this meeting together focuses on the fact that we all realize that after this moment, things will not be the same in this world in which we live. There is the experience among every person who is alive in the world today of dramatic change. Change has swept across the globe, and it has left no place and no person untouched. As the other people who have spoken during the course of the day have emphasized, one of the primary feelings that resides on a planetary basis is uncertainty. Uncertainty for what's next, uncertainty for the future, uncertainty about this very moment. In many respects, it seems as if the ground has moved. Something that we feel so confident of has shaken. So there is uncertainty, there is fear, there is great suffering that we witness in the world today. And although everyone suffers, it is one of the unfortunate circumstances, not just of this pandemic, but of life the way we have chosen to live it in this world, that the suffering is distributed is distributed unequally. For some, this COVID pandemic means isolation within the four walls of your home. It means inability to meet with friends and family, inability to travel, perhaps not able to attend the clubs or the restaurants that have been the norm during the course of many people's lives. That's for some. For others, this pandemic has meant mass unemployment, homelessness, sickness, and starvation. These are facts which anyone who is doing this service work recognizes, and if we can keep from feeling overwhelmed, we try to address. So this is something that we are all quite aware of. And another feature that is becoming clear is that societies around the world, governments and the societies that they represent, are not equipped to deal with the scale of this disruption. Though I say they're not equipped, certainly that does not mean that they are unable. One of the difficult realities, one of the difficult beauties, in a way, of this pandemic is that so many things that have been hidden in plain sight, are coming into view. The inequalities that have been the core and the foundation of social structures around the world are becoming so visible in the light of this disrupting influence of this pandemic. So it's not just a matter of exposing flaws within a social structure or within an economy, but really what we come to see so graphically now in this moment is that it is not just a matter of flawed structures, but it is an entire system, a pattern of misdirected values upon which these societies within which we live and move have been built. Just one example, the valuation that we give, the value of a tree, it has more value dead than alive. The products that can be sold from the removal of a tree within the value system which we have embraced and which we have structured societies around, a dead tree is more valuable than a living tree. These are core values that express themselves in the ways that we live. So post-COVID, no question, so many things will not be the same. Outwardly, sporting events, restaurants, businesses, many of these things will change, perhaps even disappear. Those things will be different. What is most important, I think, at the deepest level for us is that this system of values be moved in a very different direction. Our national director for India, Brother Siva Prasad, has just spoken and has pointed to some facts that we know, perhaps we would rather not have to think about, but we are facing an onslaught of crises that are all human generated. One of the facts is that for every one of them, we have sufficient knowledge to address them. In global warming, it's not a mystery how that happens. mass starvation, it's not a mystery, the systems that support that. The knowledge is there, but the values supporting those things need to shift. These are big things. These are global things. These are things which any one of us is ill-equipped to alter. So what can we do? Just as we can be sure that so many things will be changed, will be different post-COVID, one of the other certainties is that there are many things that are in fact unchanging. They will not change. They will be the same now as they were in the past, as they will be in the future. The great Nobel laureate, Nobel Peace Prize winner, Dr. Albert Schweitzer. He was quite a model for compassionate behavior, a model of service in his life and in his work. He was asked on one occasion a question. He was asked whether, in his opinion, example was the best way of teaching others. And I think his response bears some thought on our part. Because his response was, example is not the best way of teaching. It is the only way of teaching. Earlier, someone said that there are thousands of lips that say things, but 2 hands do things and make things possible. Kindness, compassion, healing, giving, these are things that are immune to social distancing. These are qualities that will always be required. So the example that TOS is intended to provide, the example of caring individuals joined together in service to others, in service to those in need, is a model, a much needed model for the organization of this society that is yet to come, the one that we hope for, the one that we dream of, the one that we try and practice in our day-to-day lives. So now, more than ever, the example of the work that you all do, wherever you are able to do it, is much needed. A new pattern needs to emerge from this time of disruption, of difficulty. And it's not something that's going to come from the top down, I'm sorry to say. So the examples that you provide there in Odisha, the examples of the thousands of people who have been fed every single day throughout by members of the TOS in India, these are examples that are more meaningful now than ever. They say nothing great enters into the world without a curse. Perhaps the greatness that we are trying to exemplify will be magnified by this COVID pandemic. All that we can do is our part. And not in the future, but now. So once again, I'd like to thank Deepa. I would like to thank all of the active members there of the TOS in Odisha. I'd like to thank the many people who have joined online to participate in this. We will do what we can. The TOS is a union of those who love in service of all who suffer. So as always, thank you for your generosity in inviting me. Thank you for your generosity in the work that you do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I liked one sentence of yours, one statement of yours, that is, post-COVID-19, the world will not be the same, but there is something which will remain the same, and that is the values, compassion, love, empathy, oneness. These are the values which will remain forever. Thank you. Thanks again for being with us. I will now request our General Secretary to propose a vote of thanks.
On behalf of TOS Odisha region, it's my pleasure to propose a hearty vote of thanks. In particular, I thank the chief guest, Brother Kim Boyd, for his benign presence as a patient listener before his address on this occasion. His speech was quite motivating, it was inspiring. He raised a concern for the teeming millions who are suffering during this COVID-19 pandemic, highlighted about the values that are so dear to theosophy and their relevance in the post-COVID-19 new world. I thank you, brother. I thank you from the core of my heart. TOS Odisha region is indeed indebted to you. My special thanks to the special guest, Sister Bridget Boyd, for her sweet words inspiring our volunteers who were untiring in their efforts in relentlessly pursuing selfless service to the suffering mankind in and around Bhubaneswar, the capital city of Odisha. I thank you, Sister Bridget Boyd. I also thank the other guest of honor, Brother Siva Prasad, the National Director TOS India, for his speech, which was equally significant, how people today are suffering amidst this pandemic and what needs to be done in a theosophic perspective to overcome their distress. I thank you, sir, for your inspiring and motivational speech. I must thank also Mrs. TOS Italy, in particular Patricia Calvi, Sandra Sartori, for their financial support to TOS Odisha region, in particular about supporting education as a part of Women Empowerment Program. I also thank TOS New Zealand, and in particular Renee Sell, the President of TOS New Zealand, for her continuing support to TOS Odisha region in service-related activities. Thanks are also due to Sister Nancy Sequest, the International President of TOS, Brother P. Gohil, the General Secretary of TOS TS Indians, Brother Chittaranjan Sampati, President, UTF, and the former International Vice President, our National Lecturer, Brother Sinde, Brother U.S. Pandey, for their best wishes for the success of the conference. I also thank all the contributors, Indian and foreign, for the e-book Corona Pandemic, the challenges and responses, and the contributors for the journal Siva. In fact, they are precious articles that depict and highlight the concern for the pandemic situation and how to overcome that. I thank all the TOS groups and the members and office bearers of the UTF in general, to Sister Purnamasi Patnaik, who is on the dais, the General Secretary of UTF, for their continuing support to all TOS activities in Odisha. I thank the certificate holders for their untiring and brave efforts during the COVID pandemic situation at present in Odisha. I thank the Present Selfless Service Awardee, Dr. Satya Sundar Mahapatra, who was almost an icon in the medicine fraternity and the doctors' community in rendering relentless service in a very calm, composed, cool manner during these moments of crisis. Thank you, Dr. Mahapatra, from the core of our heart. I would be failing my duty if I don't thank Mr. Tanmay Mohanty, CEO, Luminous Infoways, Mrs. Jayashree Mohanty, co-founder and president of Luminous Infoways, Mr. Ahmad, and all the family members of Luminous Infoways for the technical support and active cooperation in making this virtual conference a grand success. My special thanks are from my loving president, Sister Deepa Padhi, the International Vice President and the President of Odisha region, for her untiring, inspiring, motivating, and perfectionist gesture, who believes that nothing succeeds like success. I am grateful for the dynamic leadership, for the able guidance, for the hard work at this stage which she undertakes, and for the efforts for all service-related activities all through the year, not necessarily during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. It's almost, we normally say, it's a one-man show, but here you have a testimony in the Theosopical fraternity that we don't believe in gender bias, and here the whole program is virtually at a one-woman show. Thank you very much. I thank all the invitees from India and abroad, all the participants online for their patient hearing. They proved not only to be silent listeners, but they reminded me a very important fact that by their patience and silence, watching the deliberations all through online, they have proved that if speech is silver, silence is golden. I thank you them, all of them, for that. Last but not the least, I once again thank you from the core of my heart. Good night, brothers and sisters. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother K.P. Padhi, for his help and support. And I'm really overwhelmed. So many participants have joined. That's really very, very heartening. Yes, 89 participants are there. Thank you, Team Mandini, for being with us this evening. It's a great
Certainly our joy.
you. And now I declare the conference closed. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, you all.
Now all participants can unmute themselves and can leave the meeting as they desire. You can also say bye or whatever you want to say to the, as the meeting is already ended. All of you can unmute yourself. Hope you all like the virtual conference. Deepa, wait kar dene ki. Deepa, madam, you can say bye and we close the meeting. Bye to all.
Bye to all. Bye, bye. Good night. Good night.